Hey guys, it's Phoenix here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is for this glittery, colourful glam look that I'm doing on the gorgeous Zoe, who has modelled for me before. If you guys want to learn how to recreate this look, keep on watching. So first off, we're going to start with the eyes and the brows, just working on a clean, blank face. So as you can see, Zoe doesn't have a lot of brow hair at the moment, so I'm going to just create and draw on an eyebrow for her. But first of all, we're going to put down an eye base for the shadow and for the brow shadow. I'm using the P.Louise base in Rumour. I'm just tapping this on with a 242 MAC brush, and once I've got a good thick layer of that base over the whole eye area and all around the brow, I'm going to use a small sponge to just dab away and blend off the base into the skin so it's nicely blended out and even, and we've got a good clean base to start with. So now, using a Phoenix shadow called Tender Taupe, I'm going to take my angled brow brush and just draw on some little hair strokes. I decided just to go 2/3 of the way across with the brow and come back and finish the brow shape off later. I wasn't exactly sure on what brow shape I was going to do until I had got the shadow on, because I knew I wanted the shadow to be quite high up and blown out. Now for the eye makeup, we're going to go in with some of the P.Louise coloured bases. This one is a bright, bold red shade, and this is the first time that I'm using these paints, or these coloured paints anyway. And yeah, we're just going to go straight on in with that paint on a small blending brush, and we're going to do red on the outer corner, and then we're going to wing out the paint out the side of the eye. So we're going to be using red, orange and yellow. Red is going on the outer corner, place it on that outer corner, wing it out, and then using a clean brush with nothing on it, I'm just gonna blend and soften out the edges. This paint goes a really long way, and a very small amount can bleed and blend out quite a lot, so that's why I'm using a clean brush, because I don't want to apply any more color. I'm just blending it out and softening the edges. Then taking another brush with a little bit of white shadow, I'm just gonna blend out the very edge of the paint, and I just find that using a white shadow kind of stops the paint from going up any higher and gives a nice clean edge. So next we're going to go in with the P.Louise paint in this bold orange. We're going to do the same process. I'm going to paint on this base in the center of the eye this time. So going all over the lid in the center of the eye, and then bringing it up, and then using a clean brush, I'm going to blend out the edges and soften it up towards the eyebrow. So it's just the same process, but in a different area. We're doing the center of the eye, so just placing that on, then we're blending it out and softening and blowing it out up into the brow bone. I just found these paints an absolute dream to work with. They're so creamy, easy to blend, just so blendable, and best of all, they didn't crease like at all. Just beautiful to work with. So again, using a little bit of white shadow to blend and soften out the edges. Now we're going in with this bold yellow, and that's going to go into the inner corner of the eye and on the inner eyelid area as well, just as we're doing here. So just again, placing the paint on, painting it up, building it up into the center of the eye, and then blowing it out and blending out those edges. And I did the same process. I just put the paint on, used a clean brush to blend and soften out, then used another brush with a little bit of white shadow on it just to clean the very tips of the edges of the paint. When I'm working with bold color, I really like to have a white shadow, because I feel like at the tip of the color it just gives a very clean look. Okay, so that is the paint done. Now essentially we're going to go over top of the paint with the exact same colors. I decided to use the P.Louise eyeshadow palette because it would be fitting, given they had a bold red, a bold orange and a bold yellow in their palette. And seeing we're using the colored bases, why not use the palette as well? So this time we're using two brushes, one to apply. So I'm going in here and applying the red in the same area, and then just blowing it out, blending it out with a clean brush. So now I'm doing the orange in the center of the eye, placing on the orange shadow, and you want to get this really highly pigmented so it's nice and bright, and then use a clean blending brush to blend out and buff out the edges. Now sticking to theme, again I'm using a P.Louise colored base, and this is in a light blue and then a bold blue. I started this way. I did a light blue to bold blue kind of ombre effect, but the blue just it wasn't strong enough, it wasn't hitting or power enough, so I just decided to do the brighter, bolder, darker blue all over. So I did go over this a couple of times. I'm using a paintbrush that I got from my husband, who got from an art store, and he just gave this to me recently, and it is bomb to do liner with. It just makes the whole process a lot easier. It's a really long elongated brush, but the hair bristles are kind of firm, so for doing this kind of work it's brilliant. So we're essentially cutting the crease and then fanning out and doing a big flicked wing on the side of the eye. Now back to the P.Louise base in Rumour. I just wanted to put a bit of base under the eye area before we do concealer, because this helps to make any shadow you put on more pigmented and brighter and bolder in colour. So I'm layering a base of P.Louise base in a light pink pastel shade, and that's just going to be a base for our shadows to sit on top. So with these shadows, we're just going to use the exact same shadows we used above on the eye. So we're using yellow to orange to red, and I'm just going to boldly pack on that color using a pencil brush, and then using a clean blending brush, I'm just going to blend out and soften the edges. And I take the red just up into that liner, that blue liner, just to kind of wing it out and give it a nice blended together effect. Then taking the blue paint that I used as the winged liner, I'm going to paint the bottom lashes with that blue. And again, this was really easy to do with that paint. It just kind of goes on like a dream. And then I filled in the waterline with the paint, and then set the waterline with a matching blue shadow, which I got from the Morphe 35B palette. Now using a pressed glitter from Glitter Injections, I used a gold and then a copper. I'm just pressing the glitter onto the eyelid area with my finger and just leaving that outer corner of the lid. Then back to the blue paint and my gorgeous paintbrush, I'm gonna line up that liner from the crease, bring it down across the lash line, and give a nice bold finished liner to the eye. Okay, the eyes are done almost. We've just got to add mascara, but I'm going to go in with a base. So we're going to prep and prime and base the skin. I use Skin Food to prime the skin before I put foundation on. And now I'm using our Phoenix Custom Blend Foundation, which has a dewy finish to it. This is a water-based product, and I only did a medium coverage because I didn't want Zoe's skin to be too full coverage. I don't know why, I just thought she was having a good skin day. Her skin looked amazing. She didn't need extra coverage. I wanted her natural skin to show through. I used the Jeffree Star Magic Star Concealer under her eye and a little bit on her face, and I used the new Jeffree Star powder as well. And then I actually remembered I had to put a little bit in a highlight in the corner of the eye, so I just went and did that then. And a little bit of contour, so using a Phoenix contour powder called Fiji. I'm just taking that under the cheekbone, along the hairline, and under the jawline as well. And then for blush, I'm using a Makeup Revolution blush, just in a neutral pinky tone. And then for highlight, I'm using Doll Beauty's Shine Bright, which is one of my all-time fave highlighters. It's just bomb, it gives a beautiful glow. And then for the lips, I am lining the lips using a Phoenix lip pencil called Rosewood, just a light outline, and then taking Fenty Beauty's new gloss. That's just going over the top. So a very simple face and lip look, but here is the finished look all together with lashes on. Very simple face look, but a very bold eye look. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this tutorial. Thank you Zoe for being my gorgeous model. And as always, don't forget guys to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, and hit me back next time for more makeup videos.